Welcome back, peeps. Thank you for tuning in the Battle Bros channel, where we're always taking a look at the newest tips and tricks in Modern Warfare and Warzone mode. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Battle of the Suppressors. What is the best suppressor for you in Modern Warfare Warzone mode? We're going to be taking a look at the Tactical Suppressor versus the Lightweight Suppressor versus the Monolithic Suppressor. We're going to be going into some recoil testing, some true game data stats, and overall, what is each suppressor for? And at the end of this video, you'll have a better idea on which suppressor is best for your game style. If you guys do enjoy this kind of content, please remember to like and to subscribe and turn that notification bell on. It helps me out a lot, because if you guys didn't know, 91% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed yet. So if you do, I would deeply appreciate it. And with that being said, let's jump right into this video. So first off, let's talk about the general idea of each suppressor and what its pros and cons are according to the game. All right. So the Tactical Suppressor is described as a titanium can with stainless steel barrel that adds very little weight. The pro for this Tactical Suppressor is sound suppression, and the negatives are increased ADS speed and decreased aiming walking steadiness. Next up, we got the Lightweight Suppressor. In the Lightweight Suppressor as well, the pro is sound suppression, and the only negative is actually the damage range. So it does not sacrifice any speed or agility when being used. It only sacrifices some damage range. Again, we're going to be going into those stats in just a little bit. And then finally, we got the most popular option, which is the Monolithic Suppressor. This one has sound suppression and damage range as a pro, but it does lose ADS speed, and it does make your gun a little bit slower. However, this may be a little bit more drastic than what the game actually allows you to see. All right, now let's go into the stats. All right, let's talk a little bit about these stats. So here we got the Kilo 1-for-1 attachments, and I don't have anything on this Kilo except the except the suppressors. All right, so let's go ahead and check them out. Again, I'm using the Kilo here as a guide because the Kilo is one of the most used weapons. So as you guys can see here, the Lightweight Suppressor and the Monolithic Suppressor, the range is actually decreased by 20% in the Lightweight Suppressor, which is significant. I mean, that is a lot. Not only that, but if we go all the way to the right-hand side, the bullet velocity also decreases by 30%. So whatever you use, if you can get anything from this video, is do not use Lightweight Suppressor. This is definitely not worth it. All right. Yes, you will not lose any movement speed and any of that, but it's just, I mean, the 20% and the 30% bullet velocity, it will just really hurt your weapon a lot, especially if you're playing Warzone. Next up, we got the Tactical Suppressor, and as you guys can see, it's 0 throughout all the board, and it only adds 12 milliseconds to that ADS speed. And then if we got the Monolithic Suppressor, we got 10% increase in range, and then we've got 15% increase in the bullet velocity, but we got 16 ms in the ADS side speed. So from what we got right now, from what we got going on, remember, lightweight is the best, is the worst. And before we jump into, I want to explain a little bit of the range modifiers. Right, I'm going to explain this a little bit, not going into too much detail. If you really want the full comparison on how the range modifier works and the extra bullet and all that kind of stuff, go ahead and check out this video in the screen. But in short words, that Monolithic Suppressor, that range modifier, that 10% is not actually as big as these stats show you. All right, I'm gonna explain to you how it works really quickly. So basically, you got every gun, the Kilo, the SMG, they all have a different weapon stats, right? Different damage profile. So for example, from 0, let's put this in simple terms, right? From 0 to 30, your weapon is going to do a certain amount of damage. From 30 to 60 meters, your weapon is going to do another certain amount of damage. Then from 60 above, it's going to do another set of damage, right? That is how the weapons work, right? Depending on the damage is how much, depending on the range is how much damage your gun is going to have. And all the guns have these damage profiles. Now, the way that the Monolithic Suppressor works is it doesn't add a 10% increase throughout your whole gun, right? So that means you'll just shoot 10% further. That is not actually how it works. So for example, if from the first one, from 0 to 30, it takes 10 bullets to kill it. It does, let's say it does 30 damage per bullet, right, in those first 30 meters. If you have the Monolithic Suppressor, it will only help you, it will only extend that damage in the final meters, right? It won't help you throughout the whole thing. So now let's talk into in easier terms, right? Out of the 100 meters, let's say that you're within an 100 meter radius, right? And an enemy can be 10 meters, 50 meters, 70 meters, whatever you want him to be, but you're in an 100 meter radius. Your Monolithic Suppressor, that range increase will actually only help you in about 6 meters out of the 100 meters. All right, and that is a crazy stat. Again, explained in that video in a lot more detail with more pictures if you want to go check that one out. It's just really not worth it. I mean, it's, yes, you do get that bullet velocity, but I mean, that 15% bullet velocity, this is not Battlefield. The bullet velocity is not really that accurate as a Battlefield game, so bullet velocity is not really that drastic of a change. But again, that range modifier will actually not help you out that much, but you will definitely lose significant speed. And now let's go into the real life scenario testing, right? Let's go into recoil control and into, so I can prove to you guys that the range modifier isn't actually as drastic as these stats may show you. All right, so let's jump right into that. All right, so now we're going to be jumping into the real world testing. We're going to go ahead and test it the recoil out. Again, I said this before, but since sometimes the true game data and a lot of these stats don't show the recoil affected, it's got like a secret stat. So for example, the Monolithic should help with recoil control, again, if you don't have Monolithic. So we're going to go ahead and test out the recoil pattern of all 3 of them to see which one handles the recoil the best. So let's go ahead and start off. The first one that we're going to be using is going to be the tactical one. So we're going to go ahead into loadout, and the one I have equipped is the one with the Tactical Suppressor. Again, I've got nothing else but the BOK and the tactical. This is going to be without trying to control the recoil, just blasting it off. So we're going to go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1. So that's our first recoil one. We're just going to do one right beside it again, just so we can make sure it's correct. There we go. Pretty similar patterns. Now we're going to go ahead and use the Monolithical Suppressor. All right, next up, we're going to go with the Monolithical Suppressor. So you guys can see the class I have equipped, VOK and Monolithic Suppressor. Go ahead and blast it off in 3, 2, 1, go. And there we go. Now, last up, we're going to be going with the Lightweight Suppressor. All right, just to double check, we're going to go ahead into loadouts. The class I have equipped is the VOK and Lightweight Suppressor for the final testing. Again, we're going to be in the same exact spot, moving a little bit to the right. 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and compare all 3 of them that we have right here. So we've got, remember, tactical on the left-hand side, monolithical on the middle, and lightweight on the right-hand side. So now, as you guys can see, definitely tactical has a little bit less recoil, I would say. A lot more of those shots are also concentrated on the top. Monolithical seems a little bit easier to control with the recoil because it goes straight vertical. You know, it's a pretty easy line. The same with lightweight, but with tactical, as you guys can see, definitely a lot less recoil and a lot more of those shots concentrated. It also takes a bigger hit to the left, as you guys can see with both of the ones. It takes a bigger hit to the left. So I think definitely less vertical recoil with the tactical, but it's probably going to be a lot easier to control with the Monolithical suppressor. Now let's jump with the damage range testing to see how much damage do these suppressors actually lose in real life. Let's go ahead and test it out. All right, so now we're going to be going into the damage testing. As you guys can see, my friend is all the way over there. I did measure this with the heartbeat sensor, and it is around a little over 100 meters. All right, so this is probably one of the maximum that you would be shooting this gun. Again, we're going to go ahead and take a look. We've got the Tactical Suppressor on first, and I did set this health to 250 just so we can see how much of a bigger difference it is. I'm going to try to hit body shots, and let's go ahead and take the count. All right, 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 shots with the tactical. Now let's go ahead and take a look with the Monolithical Suppressor. All right, now as you guys can see, equipped VOK with the Monolithic Suppressor on. Let's take a look. 14 is the shots to beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 shots, so exactly the same at 100 meters. It won't lose anything. Remember, again, this is because, well, I'll explain it after. Let's go into the lightweight suppressor, and then we'll talk about that one. All right, now as you guys can see, the one equipped is the one with the VOK and the lightweight suppressor. Again, both of the other ones performed at 14 shots at around 100 meters. Let's go ahead and test this one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 exactly the same for all of them. And again, I did say this before, but remember, I just wanted to show this in real life testing because that's what I mean with the range and the gun and the damage drop off and all that. I mean, it is really, really, really hard for that damage range to affect you. I mean, sometimes even as you guys can see right here, this is significantly far, but we are not even, I mean, that is not even affecting it. Like I said, it depends on the damage profile of the gun, and it will only help you on those like 1 to 2 meters. So in each of the damage drop off. So it's just really, really hard for you to really notice that difference with the damage range. Again, here, this is a real life Warzone scenario. You know, the guy had 250 HP, so full plates, and now I was shooting him this pretty far distance. And it just doesn't really affect it that much. So yeah, with that being said, let's go back into which one I believe is the best, you know, after all this testing and after all the stats. Let's jump right into that. All right, and coming back from that, as you guys can see there, as you guys saw in the video, Tactical definitely had the best recoil control, and none of them lost any ranges over 100 meters. So if you're shooting somebody really far, you know, we're talking about Warzone, they all shot down the target in the same amount of bullets. Tactical had less recoil. All right, so after seeing all this, and after talking about the stats and talking about the general weapon use and looking at the recoil and all this sort of things, I am gonna have to switch, and I think I am gonna go with the Tactical Suppressor. Now, let me just give you an idea on when you'd want to use which ones, right? I'm still gonna be using the Monolithic. In the snipers, really, just go ahead and put the Monolithic Suppressor on because you always want that extra damage range, and your snipers are usually meant to be slow, right? It doesn't really matter if you are a little tad faster because of that Monolithic in that Tactical. So if you're running snipers, go ahead and put Monolithic. If you're running LMG in it and you want it to be slow, it doesn't matter, go ahead and put Monolithic. If you're running an AR and you just want it to be, again, you know, steady and shooting insanely far, but you don't mind the weapon being slow, slapped out a Monolithic Suppressor. Now, if you want your weapon to be suppressed, obviously, right, but you really don't want, you want a quick weapon, don't select the lightweight, go ahead and select the Tactical Suppressor. All right, the Tactical Suppressor, I think it's gonna be, if enough people watch this video, people may be switching to the Tactical Suppressor now. Why? Because it helps you definitely a lot more with that vertical recoil control. And as we guys saw, the range modifier, it doesn't decrease it and doesn't increase it. It stays exactly the same. And as we guys saw already, that the range in this game works pretty funny, and it's not actually as useful as people may seem, and your ADS only increases by a little tiny bit, and everything else stays exactly the same throughout the board. You will not lose any speed, you won't look any fast. I mean, it's a tad bit, you'll control your weapon a lot better, and you will be suppressed, which is basically what we want. So again, at the end here, that is going to be my take for this. Again, if you don't care that your weapon is slow and you really want those extra meters, then go ahead and slap that Monolithic Suppressor on, even if you don't care that your weapon's going to be slow. If you want a quick SMG, if you want a gun that you can handle the recoil a little bit better, and I mean that you're really not into, you know, just increasing out of the 100 meters, getting 6 meters of benefit, then go ahead, and I think the Tactical Suppressor is definitely going to be the way to go with this one. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about this. Is Tactical Suppressor going to be your new suppressor of choice, or will it still be Monolithical because you don't really care that your weapon is slow and you care about those 6 extra meters out of the 100 meters in the equation? Again, let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. I deeply appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Thank you everybody so much. Peace out, everybody. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.